Back again here on UPfront with me, Blessed Sogah. Our focus for this edition will be on illegal mining, but we're giving it a new twist. The President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, spent time engaging civil society on the way forward in the fight against illegal mining. However, it has been established that political will be required and bipartisanship, much more importantly, will be required in the fight against illegal mining. So when will the President engage lesser known and by extension the largest opposition political parties on the fight against illegal mining? And that's our focus for tonight. We want to hear from all of the parties and to find out what they equally think about how the country could build national consensus going forward. How do we first of all achieve that? And what will be required in that fight going forward? But well, the lesser known political parties have a bigger argument. They feel that this is way beyond the issue of just talk, but they will require action and political will, especially from the executive head, who happens to be the president. They equally want a dialogue with the president, possibly, if that opportunity would present itself. So there are inputs and varied political perspectives on how the country can tackle the illegal mining menace. So how do we achieve that? And how do we push that fight forward? You hear from lots of the political parties for tonight, including one very controversial position. There's an individual from the Convention People's Party. We'll get clarity as to whether or not he's acting on behalf of the entire party or doing that as an individual, because his petition, the Speaker of Parliament, over what he believes ought to be done to the president, is far-reaching, far-fetching, and includes a possibility of impeaching the president. But why impeach the president when he's just, taking up office in the last 9 months, taking up a fight that has predated his tenure? That's the big question facing the running mate, 2024 running mate of the Convention People's Party, Wayo Ganamanti, who will be joining the conversation also for tonight. So let's start off then. Joining us now is, of course, the General Secretary of the Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG, who is joining us now from the US via Zoom. Thank you so much, sir, for spending some time with us. Wayo Ganamanti is also joining us via Zoom. He will join us shortly to share his thoughts with us. If we have Wayo on, I think we should start off with him because he sent a petition to the Speaker of Parliament, actually, asking the Speaker of Parliament to trigger some constitutional processes against the president. Some say that's premature and may not even end up being heard in Parliament because of the simple majority that the president is enjoying. How about all of that? Wayo Ganamanti, if you can hear me, thank you for spending time with us here on the Joy News channel. And let's get to it. Your take on the illegal mining fight. You're taking the president on, first of all, and in fact petitioning the Speaker of Parliament on that. Don't you feel that your call is too far-fetched, given the fact that the government is just 9 months old? You would have to unmute so we can hear the points you're sharing with us. It appears that we're unable to hear you. But if you could just unmute and make that point for me. You've heard me loud and clear, and point out, of course, this petition that you've sent to the Speaker of the House. Well, while you, of course, deal with your connection, Wayo Ganamanti, let's get to Jerry Owusu, who's also joining us from the United States of America now. Jerry, thank you for your time. You speak for the LPG. You equally want some dialogue with the president, isn't it, as political parties?
Exactly. Concerns have been raised since the president decided to invite CSOs over this illegal mining issues. That is really disheartening. But the president seems to be aloof over this very issue. If the president is able to call on political parties and I would say he should beg them. He should just be on his knees for once and say, enough is enough. Please, political actors who need monies for your campaign and all that, this is the time we have to stop seeking wealth for our political parties through illegal mining. I think for once it's going to work because all these miners,
the suspicion you're telling me now that you have, the suspicion you're telling me now you have as a political party is that politicians are ingrained in this menace.
They are, let's say, 98% when it comes to this Galamsey menace. They have all hands. Just look at what is happening. NPP, when they were in power, a lot of noises were made by NDC. They were trying to just tag the NPP government over this very Galamsey menace. But just look at what is happening now. They came into power and they are even doing it more than what NPP did, sorry. So if the president is able to invite political parties and just go down on his knees and beg them to stop mining in water bodies, stop mining in the forest and all that, I think for once it's going to work because if they don't, then there wouldn't be any cause than to shoot to kill, because if you beg them and they still go to the water bodies or go to the forest reserves to go and do this illegal project, I don't think then we have anything else to do than to shoot to kill whoever is involved in this thing. Because for now,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but for now, what is really going on is nothing to write home about. And we have to. And therefore, there is something we are not paying attention to. You see, they come and they just create whatever Operation Vanguard, whatever operation, all sort of teams, neglecting the Navy squad. And when you look at the core mandate for Navy, they are just there to protect our water bodies. The Marine, it is one of their core mandates. And where are they? We all know they are professionally trained to protect our water bodies. But when it comes to all these, they just use the military, they do not use the Navy.
Okay, great
so
point.
How are we fighting this menace?
Yeah, great question.
I think we are doing the right thing.
Yeah, great question you're asking there about, the Navy. But I would presume now that they are part of the Ghana Armed Forces. But what I want us to do also now is to bring in Wayo Ganamanti, who is the 2024 vice presidential candidate of the Convention People's Party. And he's already in Parliament asking the Speaker to take a number of initiatives. But I was just criticizing you earlier, Council, about the fact that your call appears to be premature because you're being extreme, asking that some processes be triggered against the president. Why? Please unmute so we can hear the points you're sharing with us. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you now.
So let me say a very good evening to our compatriots, the citizens of this country. I don't think it's premature because sometimes when we are supposed to test the constitutional ethos of our country, we need to take proactive steps. If you look at what I'm looking at the invocation of Article 69, which is provided for in our constitution when it comes to the removal of the president or the head of states. And there are some grounds that have been properly or expressly provided for in our 1992 constitution. And when those grounds mature, then a citizen can basically go to the Supreme Court to ask for the reliefs thereof. And we are looking at Article 31 on the declaration of emergency powers or the use of emergency powers. at what point should we declare a state of emergency? And Article 31(9) A and B is clear that when there is an action or any threatened action to be taken by any group of persons or a particular person that seeks to threaten the life of the community, the essential life of the community. And here, Galamsey is about water, it's about farmlands, it's about the economic backbone of our country. So to some of us, reading the law, I think that the circumstance has matured. Another area is also 31(9)B that talks about when there is the necessity for the president or the head of state or the government of the day in its own wisdom think that we must put in measures to render the safety of the state. Now, Galamseyers are all over the place using arms. Today, we see them use arms to ward off our security apparatus. And for me, it's not about the politics of it. It's about the nation. The president is a fantastic statesman. He's a fantastic man. Everybody loves him. People who know where I come from, the president is one of my top guys. I love the president. It's about Ghana, and it's about how existential threat we are treading on.
What are your demands then from the Speaker of the House of Parliament? Because I was just taking a look at some of them being reported by some newspapers, and it goes as far as asking for some impeachment processes. Am I wrong on that?
Absolutely. Article 69 talks about impeachment, and you see, people shouldn't be scared. This is not the first time impeachment proceedings have been brought into being. You can see that even in the United States of America, in the US, we all know that impeachment proceedings are always brought about. And today, the sitting president, His Excellency Donald John Trump, he's gone through some executive removal exercises. In the United Kingdom, prime ministers resign because they see that basically they are not able to live to a certain expectation. Where we are treading towards, where we can exactly become a failed state. And Professor Jampo has been on record saying it all over the place that if we don't take care and we don't let Galamseyers see the force of the executive presidency we have, the president has all that power. We have to unleash that executive power to let Galamseyers know that we cannot allow it to control a certain portion of the country. And my brother, we all know this is how areas get controlled by armed rebels. Armed rebels, that's how it begins.
Yeah, so where exactly does the president come into all of this? You've had a president, or we've all had a president, and presidents or successive governments who've been in power way more than this president. You never triggered that process against any of the heads of states. You're now doing that against the president who's taking office less than a year.
Thank you very much. And you can also now look at the circumstances. In all the years past, Galamsey was not so drastic. Galamsey was not devastating. We can only say it was during the past government. But during the past government, we saw what the former president Nanado put in place. He tried to do
I'm sorry,
something.
but if you're asking, I mean, sorry for cutting through, but if you're asking someone to be impeached, you're asking that they be impeached based on either their inaction, incompetence, or inability to deliver on the job. That's why I'm asking you the question. I hope it provides, some more context to why I'm asking you the question, sir.
So my reliefs are there. So you can see what I'm seeking. I'm seeking that the president's failure to declare a state of emergency is basically against his presidential oath to dedicate himself to the service and well-being of the people of this country. If we have our water bodies being destroyed, if we have our soils being contaminated, the research is out there. Our foods we are eating today on the markets are contaminated. The contomere, the yam, the tubers, everything is contaminated. The waters are contaminated. And we hear that when mercury and these metals get into the soil, they can stay as far back as 50 years. So you and I, our bones are already matured. What about the children we are born in? The young ones, the newborns, their body system, their bones will form. In fact, somebody even told me that the DNAs of Ghanaian descendants are going to change if we don't work on this matter. So at the end of the day, I'm seeking the relief that the president has violated his presidential oath to dedicate himself to the service and the well-being of these people. I'm also seeking the relief that the farms that are being destroyed, a major cash crop, cocoa, is being destroyed. And we are the second largest producers of cocoa. If today we are going after gold and we are dismantling cocoa, in the next decade, Ghana will not be on that large scale. And at the end of the day, we have reduced a certain economic backbone. That is also clearly within the president's mandate. So he's more or less, the president's refusal is inimical to the economic conditions of this country, which is clearly in Article 69, 1B, 1 BIII. They are all there. So my notice to Parliament is clear. I'm also seeking that the fact that galamseyers are moving with arms, if we are not careful, we will allow them to gravitate. And if tomorrow it become clear that foreigners will set in, foreigners are already in. If people with interest pump money and galamseyers begin to hold sophisticated weapons, we will have another flashpoint or a series of flashpoints on our hands, which is a serious national security matter.
Oh, okay. You have the
so the president is breaching his constitutional oath not to put this country's trajectory to endemical states where our security is impaired.
Okay, here's the thing. You have Parliament to deal with. This is a house that has an absolute majority on the part of the NDC, more than 2/3, who would obviously disagree with you. And I'm just guessing. I'm not saying that will be their collective position, but they'll disagree with you when you say the president ought to be, impeached at this moment simply because of illegal mining.
My brother, if you say simply because of illegal mining, then you are not following the discourse.
No,
illegal mining is an existential threat. It's an existential threat. And I've said that
you haven't demonstrated to me. You haven't demonstrated to me how the president is directly connected to this in terms of impeachment. That's the highest form of accountability that you're asking for on the side of the president, who, as I was pointing out earlier and pointing out once again, he's less than a year old in office.
Okay, so if you can give me a space of time, now listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying that the president took a presidential oath. The presidential oath is clearly saying that the president will dedicate his life to the service and well-being of the people. I'm saying that in Article 69(1), it is stated clearly that if the president is found to have willfully violated his presidential oath, he can be up for removal. And I'm saying that currently, the president's conduct, that our foods, our soil, our water are poisoned, are contaminated to the level that when mercury and these heavy metals get into the soil of Ghana, 50 years and more, they will stay in the soil. So 50 years and more, you and I, the food will be eating. We'll be eating cassava, we'll be eating fufu, we'll be eating banku, we'll be eating tozafi, we'll be eating whatever we'll be eating. They are all contaminated tubers. The water we'll be drinking. And the deformities and the diseases that are coming up, the records are clear. Increased kidney...
How will the impeachment of John Mahama solve that?
Come again?
How will the impeachment of John Mahama solve that?
I mean, the Constitution has not gone to, if a president is removed, what the president was removed for.
No, I'm asking a very direct question. How will the impeachment of the president address all of these things that you're talking about?
Then there's a continuation. There's a vice president who will take over, and the vice president will know that these are the measures. You are supposed to protect the citizens of this country. You see, let's look at that.
The vice president, for the records, believes in the vision of this president.
Fantastic. Then what it simply means is that the government that we have brought into being is not ready to save the lives. You see, the argument is about the citizens of this country.
Yeah, but it's just because of what you're asking the speaker to do, and that's why I'm asking you all of these questions. Very controversial point. Asking the president to be impeached at this moment.
Because Article 69 is clear. Article 69 is clear on the grounds a president to be removed. I'm saying one of them is that if the president simply breaches his presidential oath or the oath of allegiance, or the president is conducting himself that seeks to bring the high office of president into ridicule, disrepute, or into contempt, or the president's action is inimical to the security of the state, or the president's action is inimical to the economy of the state. I've just told you that in mineral resource areas, DR Congo, and so many areas, rebels have taken charge of mineral resource areas, and they started gradually, and the state did not deal with it. We have galamseyers who are holding guns and wielding guns. If tomorrow it becomes the order of the day that the quest for gold in the Gold Coast, Ghana, must be realized no matter what, and sophisticated weapons come in, it will become a difficulty on our hands. It is the president's duty to protect the citizens from that. If the president does not do that, the president is willfully violating the presidential oath. So I'm simply saying that is what the law says. It's not about the president himself. It's about the procedure of the law. We have impeached a chief justice based on circumstances, and we have removed the chief justice. Today, we hear somebody petition that the acting chief justice should be removed. Somebody has also petitioned that his Lordship General Colleague should be removed. Yeah. I'm only looking at my civic duty at that under Article 69. If removal of a president it's not in the wisdom of the lawmakers. They shouldn't have put it there.
Okay.
It is there.
Yeah, I'll come back to you shortly. Jerry, just hold on for us as well. Janet Nabla is joining us. She's the chairperson of the PNP, the People's National Party. And Janet, this whole conversation, some are saying let's dialogue with the president, let all the political parties come to the table, and then you can dialogue on the way forward. Because as some of you allege, politicians are deep into the activities of illegal mining. But how soon would you want the president to engage?
You and your viewers this evening.
Right.
For us to meet as politicians, I don't think there will be much. Because looking at the way the president met civil society organizations, they are a powerful instrument in this country, and he met them. And, you know, the outcome was not something that was somehow encouraging.
Yeah.
So to meet other political parties is going to turn into a political banter. You did it up to this place, I did it up to here, and then like that. But this is not what we are looking for.
Right.
We are actually in a more serious, precarious situation that, truth be told,
Yeah.
if we actually want to be able to make sure that this country, we run it well,
Yeah.
and then lives are saved, the president will be must be up and doing. Let's not politicize it. I don't want us to politicize it, because bringing politics into it destroys everything. So the thing is that we saw that our situation, Ghanaians saw that their situation was becoming worse.
Yeah.
Then they decided to kick the MPP, who could not solve the problem,
Yeah.
out of office.
Yeah.
And they brought President Mahama, who was aligning with what they were looking for. They were looking for state of emergency. The NDC government told them that they could do that. And the people saw that the NDC government was an alternative, because the way their people were so aggressive in addressing issues just like the ordinary Ghanaian.
Yeah.
Ghanaians believed them and gave them the power or the mandate. Now they are in power. President Mahama doesn't need me from PNP to come and tell him anything, because I wasn't voted for. It was President Mahama who was voted for, based on the fact that he gave reasons. He gave reasons that this and this and this is what I will do. And because of that, the people of Ghana gave him that mandate. Today, he is asking civil society organizations to come and meet for a dialogue. A dialogue for what? You have all the machineries involved to be able to end Galamsey today. Let me tell you something. Do you think that, God forbid, if we have a coup today, tomorrow you will see anybody there? Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is political party members who are doing that. They usually do this based on the fact that my party is in power, so they are emboldened to go there to do this. President Mahama is aware. You are the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, for God's sake. You don't need political parties to sit on a round table. Look, President Mahama is causing a problem not for his party, but for all Ghanaians. Have you seen the voting pattern? We had almost 90 million voter population, and yet look at the number of people that voted for NDC, only 6 million. And this is what they got in 2020. It repeated in 2024. People who rejected the MPP refused to vote for the NDC because they said, you are not alternative. We know you already. You've been in power. You've been lying to us. So if we thought the Nanado was a different brand, and we voted for him thinking he will help us, and he has not helped us, God forbid, we won't give you NDC our votes. So it pained me to the core when I saw that they were jubilating that they've won. Actually, when you look at the voting pattern, they've lost. I'm telling you, this has never happened. So
your point
before.
is that Ghanaians do not have confidence that the president will be able to tackle this illegal mining menace?
They are losing confidence in politicians, because when you look at the voting pattern, a lot of people are becoming discouraged. And this, what the president is doing, is further going to even make them become more discouraged, because they thought that the president could help them. That's what they were thinking. Now the president is there, and he's asking civil society organizations to come and help, and other things. We beg. I hope you understand. We are begging the president. These people, do you know that Ghana Health Service have come out that 120 women lost their pregnancy? They went to hospital and they had miscarriages as a result of Galamsey menace. Now we are having women coming to hospitals with, is it ectopic? The child is not in the womb. Look, I am a health administrator at a hospital,
right.
and the hospital is not big. And the number of ectopic cases we have recorded for only October. This morning, I was telling the workers that there's something wrong. So please.
And you're saying with all of this, you don't need dialogue with the president?
Dialogue for what? He should just use a state of emergency and stop it. Dialogue is wasting time. Dialogue is when you don't want to do it and you want to waste time. You use things like dialogue. These are like political gimmicks that politicians use to waste time so that they can get opportunity to mine. So we don't want any dialogue. Mr. President, you don't need me. You have all the facts. I've given you all the opportunity to use. You're a commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. You don't need anybody. You need to say that I have placed a state of emergency and it will be done. Let's not be...
He says it should be the last resort.
Last resort for what? I've just told you, you've seen what is happening. There is no any improvement anywhere because the people that are mining are emboldened. They are not scared of anything. My party is in power. This, all these things. I know that, Mr. President, I'm sure he's not part of this. He's not behind anyone. So please act for the interest of the 35 million Ghanaians, not your party members. Your party members, no, they are 6 million. Act in our own interest.
Okay. Stephen Atuvika has just joined us, and you've been listening to your sister all throughout. You also support dialogue, state of the emergency. Where do you stand in all of this? He says, I mean, there's no confidence now in politicians.
Viewers, and good evening to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his vice, and good evening to Mother Ghana. I think the issue of the illegal mining or the miners polluting our water bodies, it's not just just not the president. It's as citizens. We also owe a responsibility of making sure that it's not, if you look at the trash all over, it's not the government that tells people not to be responsible. As a human being, you should know, going to the water bodies, you are a Ghanaian. Are you polluting the waters? Growing up, I'm 50 years, but I've seen that mining hasn't stopped from my generation to generations that people were not spoiling water bodies. But in moving forward, I think that we are in a democracy. And in the democracy, the government, the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is not running this country through the barrel of the gun. We are running this country through a democratical system that we have members of parliament representing the whole constituencies. And at the same time, we have stakeholders of the country. And giving dialogue, unfortunately in Ghana, it is not government that owns lands. Even government lands, they take it from...
Steve, all of these excuses now.
No, I'm trying...
A lot of people watching this now will say, well, we're running out of time. What does it take for the president to simply declare state of emergency?
I'm building a foundation.
Right.
The president is in Accra. He has given some of his powers to the DCs.
Yes.
And we have regional ministers who are head of security in the district. And all the MDCs and all are under him. And I'm saying that when somebody goes to a community to mine, first and foremost, the assemblyman of the area knows a miner is in the territory.
That's correct.
The lands belongs to individuals and underneath chiefs. I get him, community leader, chiefs and kings and what have you. So we know who comes to our backyard to mine. We know the water bodies at our backyards. We know the infrastructure that we have that people mine even to the extent that if you go to cities, people are mining. But I want to make a correction. We were here the last time. And the previous government issued up to almost 1,000, 5,000, 82,000 mining licenses. Right. All the water pollutions that is happening right now, the NDC government is only 8 or 9 months old. They are doing whatever they can. You can't just go and start killing people. Yes, I agree with the state of emergency, but that should be on the appointees first, so that any appointee, MC, DC, or a minister, if there's any illegal mining at your backyard, you'll be fired. Then you put people who wake up in the morning as the head of the security council, security in the districts, or they will start going to the trenches. And also remember, all the communities are represented by the MCs, by the assemblymen. And thank God today, in the first of the history of this country, they are being paid. They are giving some allowance. So any assemblyman, if the MC, they sit together and dialogue, that's where dialogue comes in. You tell your assemblyman, look, it's our responsibility to protect our water
Janet disagrees with you on that when you say dialogue. You disagree.
I agree.
I totally disagree, especially talking about the chiefs. Do you know something? We had a big dialogue that was in 2023. I don't know whether Abu Jinapo took all of us to Accra Conference Center.
Right.
All the chiefs in the various regions, the 16 regions, they were brought to the place. Then they threw the question at them that they were the cause of Galamsey. The chiefs got up and said, you, the DC, when people came to my community and started mining, I went to the police station and reported to the police. The commander helped me. We seized the excavator. That we were there, mineral commission said they snapped a license for them and they saw the license was legitimate. So they asked them to take the excavator. So the chief said, no, don't allow them. And the person said, I'm working with the law. The chief is not the law. You know that?
Yeah.
In the constitution, it's the president that have the power. That
So
is
for you,
why
everything rises and falls on the president.
That is the reason why we are paying him that much. That's the reason why we gave him those powers. In fact, when you collect so much power and you are exhibiting it the way you want, when you commit a crime, don't try to shield. Don't try to go behind chiefs. The president is solely responsible for this. He can stop this, but he's not.
Steve,
he's not ready.
you disagree?
Look, it takes, yes, there's a president is a commander-in-chief, but there are arms of government. If a mineral commissioner...
Yes, we are here.
Yeah, I'll come to you. I'll come to you shortly. I know that. Let
if
them
a
land.
mineral commissioner, issues a license to somebody to go and mine at a particular place that they're not supposed to mine, or no, somebody's supposed to crack the wick on somebody going to do prospective, there's prospective mining and there's mining. So some people take the prospective mining, licenses, and they go and they start mining. I'm saying when structures work, it takes beyond the president.
Yes, but we're in a crisis mode right now. We're in a crisis mode right now, and
listen,
people are saying, let the president declare state of emergency.
We are forgetting that. The president, we have seen under the NDC, we should not pretend to be ostriches, excuse you with my indulgence, that we have seen institutions and structures are being put in place for people to go to the mining areas. They've recruited a lot of people, and it didn't start from this government. Previous government has institutions that
that is why they kicked them
crisis,
out.
Steve.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were voted out because they couldn't solve their problem.
We should give the president time, because the president is working. Look, we cannot, if the law even protects a murderer, the law, people are committing crime, which we think that they still have rights for the fact that they are spoiling our water bodies.
How much time should we give the president?
I am saying that.
When we are all wiped out.
I am saying that at this moment, malaria has killed people in this country more than the mining. There are other, we can throw the ball and accidents has killed people on our roads more than the mining. But everybody drinks water. That is why His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has taken, the NDC government has taken this issue so serious that they are spending lots of our monies training people. Are you getting me? Besides the Navy and the military. And we must also start blaming ourselves as citizens that we besides the president, who is at Jasika Takwa, who is at Obuasi Gold Mine, who is their mine? Is it not we citizens?
No,
is that not so? But I'm saying that for the president to issue a state and emergency, it should be the last resort, because the president is the commander-in-chief. He's telling us that I have won power through the box. It doesn't mean that I should kill people. But when people are killing us, it doesn't mean I should unleash my soldiers, my military, whatever, to go and start shooting people. But that's what the Constitution says. Yes. That he should protect us to the extent of using a gun. Through the Constitution. And these people, that's the Constitution.
They know what they're doing. Let's bring in Jerry also is also on with us. Yes, Jerry. The LPG.
Yes, I'm a little disappointed in Atubiga for shielding what the president is supposed to do right. You know, earlier, or let's say the past government used all means the president is using now.
They did not.
Bring people to the table. It got to a point they have to give out licenses because they wanted people, they just wanted to regulate the people who were mining. So they were just inviting everybody and then giving them licenses so they could regulate them. That is why NDC now are saying MPP gave more licenses, NPP gave
8 years of mining can't be stopped within a day.
They wanted to regulate them. That is why they gave them that opportunity to be mining. Now, when Stephen is here protecting the president,
I'm not protecting the president.
Protecting the politicians. It is very wrong. We have gone beyond that. president has lost ideas. He doesn't know what more to do.
That is not true. I
That's why
disagree.
he's inviting CSOs to come together and
That is
give
good
him
governance.
more strategies.
That is good governance.
Now, we know we have
running the country
all
with the
ideas.
citizens.
The thing is, just allow the institution, the Navy unit, to get into the water bodies, protect the water bodies, just get the military to visit the military zone. You see, I was just laughing when I heard the lands minister going out there to say there is ban on. The thing is already in the constitution. People are not supposed to go into the forest reserves. So you don't need to now launch it. The thing is already there. Get the military to kick everybody out of the forest. Get the Navy to make the water bodies clean for us. Leave all these MMDCs or so-called people.
Do you think it's as easy as you're saying it?
Thank you.
Do you feel it's as easy as
it's going to
you're
be
saying
very
it?
easy when you take the politicians off. Like, stop using the RISEC, the DISEC, and all sort of security chairpersons who, at the end of the day, will be needing money for their party's campaign. And these political actors who are deep down in Galamsey, they are just in there to make money for their parties. They want to control money and control their parties. And that is why they are just destroying our forest reserves and destroying our water bodies. So if we have a president who doesn't even know what to do now, you mean we have a way to go? And then I heard Wayo also saying, if the president is impeached now, the vice, nobody voted for the vice. And constitutionally, this time, if there's no president that we voted for, it means there's going to be another election. Nobody will allow any vice president to take over. That's not what the law says.
Why?
So, if the president cannot work and Wayo is campaigning for the impeachment of the president, I think we have to say we are sorry for allowing President John Mahama be our president.
I think anybody saying President John Dramani Mahama is
right.
not fighting the illegal miners.
No, honestly, he's not doing anything.
You owe him an apology. You know very well that.
Galamsey is going out of hand. Galamsey is just way out of the country's...
the president is working.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring in...
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring in Wayo because you mentioned him, so he can clarify his position. Wayo, if Parliament resumes now, and that should be, I think, by next week, are you saying that you'll be mounting pressure on the Speaker of Parliament for the President to be impeached? Is that what you're saying?
So thank you very much for the question. And let me try to clarify so the citizens understand. First and foremost, all the debates we are having, like we are doing today, is about calling on the president to do the needful. And we have Atubiga in there, even trying to defend. Where we have gotten to as a country, this debate has gotten to a level where we must use the laws. I am simply saying that Article 69 of our Constitution provides for the removal of a president of this country. What are the grounds? The grounds are that if the president breaches his presidential oath, if the president breaches the oath of allegiance, if the president conducts himself, that it will bring the high office of president into ridicule, disrepute, or contempt, or if the president conducts himself, his conduct will be inimical to the economy of the state. And the last one, the president conduct will be inimical to the security of the state. These are the constitutional provisions in Article 69.
Fortunately, you are a lawyer yourself. What standards are you applying to that?
So based on Article 69, now hear my standard. My standard is that the president under the presidential oath took a presidential oath to be dedicating his service to the well-being of the people. Simple English. Now, if there is Galamsey, which is devastating our lands, which is making our waters poisoned, which is contaminating the foods that we are eating to the extent that when mercury gets into our soil, 50, 100 years, it will be there. So the tubers you and I will be eating. I heard Atiku say it's 50 years. I'm also 50 years. So for us, our bone is grown. The young ones coming, their bone and their DNA is going to form from the food our soil is going to produce. And you think this is not a serious matter enough? In this scenario, it's the president dedicating himself to protect the life of the people. I say no. So let's test the law. When we test the law and Parliament say, oh no, it's okay, then we all know that the problem is not with the president. So this action is not only about the president or the persona, it's about the law.
Okay.
We have used the law, we have used the law, give me some few minutes. We have used the law to impeach a chief justice when certain things arose. Fantastic. I'm only coming under the law as a constitutionalist, that the constitution is that provides that when A, B, C, D happens, we can put up a motion. If Parliament comes, and if this process will go to the judiciary, the chief justice will have to receive it and have a panel of 4 Supreme Court judges. So there'll be 5-member panel. They will determine a prima facie case. So even at the judicial level, if they determine that the Supreme Court, they determine that, well, if the president is not causing a state of emergency, the grounds you are asking for is removal, prima facie case has not been established. It will be clear that the president is not, it's not the president alone who rejects. As a country, we know that the judiciary also rejects. If it goes to Parliament, and Parliament says all this is done, Galamsey is devastating, Ghana faces existential threat, but however, we will not remove, then the country and the world knows that Ghana's legislature also rejects state of it. Then the president is free. So it's not about the president himself, it's about the processes.
Steve, let me
and where we are.
I disagree with my brother, calling for the impeachment of the sitting president, the best president that we've ever had in this country. We inherited 8 years of issuing licenses to people. Do we know the damages that people have done to our lands? He should go and look at the report on the former minister, Jinapo, the report against him. If Structures is to work at his crime, he is the one, the minister has to be arrested. Because whoever issued what is happening now, if we really want to go to that standard, we will arrest all those who issued those licenses, prosecute them, and also arrest the mineral commissioner.
How on earth is the issuance of licenses illegal?
No, we are in this country. That a government that is 8 years old, that has inherited a government that is just 8 months old, that has inherited a government that issued licenses to people, 2,000, around 2,000. They did not monitor. They did not go and make sure the right thing was done. They have destroyed our water bodies, and the government is just 8 months old, putting structures, whatever it can in place. Right now, go to our forestries, the illegal mining. They've sacked all of them. Nobody is mining at this moment, unless the illegal miners. But as a country, we should, I'm saying that it is wrong, it is uncalled for, it is derailing of this topic, saying that the sitting president, the best, he says John Dramani Mahama, the best president this country has ever had, who knows value for money. They should rather be arresting the previous government and appointees who sat aloof for 8 years for our water bodies to be destroyed where we are. We cannot. The MPP.
Are they the ones in power?
Yes, we are not in power to clean. We are not. We are in power to fix.
Janet, you can come through.
Wait, I thought you said that you were bringing smaller political parties.
So let's say,
No. You said you are
so Janet, just make your point. No.
Please, he said that you are party.
Okay, you are a PNC woman.
Let's go.
Let me do
Let's focus on what's on the table.
Let me give you the figures. In 2012 to 2016, that was 4 years. President Mahama issued 1,402 licenses.
What's the source of your document? Because from our data, the Joy News data says more than 2,000 issued by the government. You're referring to, I believe, the one that Abu Jinapo put out a few days ago.
Is it Abu Jinapo?
They say the source is from the ministry, but there's no actual source on that. But if you have, you can share that with us. Yes.
They said only 4 years. This NDC government issued 1,402 licenses to miners. And now, in about 8 years, they have issued 1,014. So with all what we are saying, it is about what you said and what MPP are saying. Which of you, how do we decipher the truth from the two of you?
When we stop the blame game and look at what
No, it's not blame game.
Game.
The truth is that whatever is happening, I have seen that President Mahama is not a listening government. He doesn't care about the people. He cares about his gold. That's why they brought
Look
the
at
gold
how
board.
beautiful and comfortable.
No, they brought their gold board.
And the
This
JDS
one is
government.
not a gold board, it's Galamsey board. I'm telling you. It's Galamsey board. If I have power, I would dissolve that board.
You want to dissolve the gold board?
Dissolve.
Have you seen the contributions to...
Thank you.
Have you seen the devastation? Have you seen the devastation? If you want to talk about the good things gold board has done, go to our forests, go to our lands.
Come on.
You go to buy contombre, and one contombre is now 20 Ghana cedis. People don't farm anymore.
That's a choice.
Look, Cocoa Board has come out with threatening news that they are cutting off their cocoa trees and using the lands to dig gold. Look, these things that we are talking about is going to be a generational
So if the president calls all of you, and this is what I want to find out
you.
from all of you, if the president calls all of you now, and let me start off with you, Ganamanti. If the president calls everyone to the table to say, let's dialogue, let's Giorgio, are you going to do that, looking at what you're doing now?
What I'm simply doing is that the president has to protect the citizens of this country.
So you won't sit down and dialogue with the president?
No, we'll sit down. We'll sit down. For me, I even think that this process that I've ignited might give the president a second thought. All what we are asking for the president is to call a state of emergency and put in the measures, and we go in there. It's not about the president, about removing the president. No, it's about reminding the president that if you go against, if you violate your presidential oath, your oath of allegiance, if your actions is inimical to the state, the security of the state, you could be removed. That is what I'm trying to let the president
So it's just a reminder.
understand.
So you will dialogue with the president if the opportunity presents itself?
And the president must cause a state of emergency.
Okay.
If it doesn't cause state of emergency, the situation persists. So then the president can be called to be removed because he's not protecting the citizens of this country.
Let me hear from Jerry. Jerry, would you dialogue with the president on this?
Of course. That is what I said initially. The president has to beg, not apology, he has to beg the politicians, especially the MPP and the NDC, he has to beg them to clearly stay away from our water bodies and our forest reserves. If you do that, the next person who gets in there should be handled, the person should be manhandled. They shouldn't be spared. You know, it's way overdue to be wasting time on advice, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that, because first,
we are facing existential threats. We are facing existential threats.
Yes, first they said they wanted responsible mining, later they said community mining, and all that is not helping the situation. So now it is calling for a drastic measure. We shouldn't pamper anybody. The president should act. He should act.
Right.
Beg your party people to stop visiting our water bodies, to stop bringing the Chinese and other foreign nationals to our...
Let's
great point. Yeah. So let me take your final points as we wrap up. Yes, Steve.
If I was a president today, I will immediately stop it, whether it is legal mining, illegal mining. All mining companies should shut down. First thing I'll do, whether it is gold, Newmont, whatever they call it, whatever they should all shut down. No mining in the country.
Are we looking at the cost to the state?
Oh, the human health, our health is more important than money. And when it comes to national security is not just arresting. If people can't get safer water to drink, it's a national security issue. If people cannot get good water for irrigation, that our food is being polluted, it's a national security issue. So I think that once we shut all mining down, then I will go ahead and also say, anybody who sees, deploy all my security and the police, all my security apparatus into the bush. Anybody you see mining, kill, shoot to kill. Me, if NLC was in power. Anybody you find, shoot to kill.
But that,
it's senior. Okay. It's a no-go area. Yeah. And I will need that backing from the parliament. They will also give me that backing because it's going to cost a lot of resources to deploy the soldiers and everything. Then drones will fly everywhere. Anybody they see at water bodies, unless there's a strategic places like the non-mining areas that they go to fetch water in the village. But I'm talking about anywhere that is mapped. When they see anything moving there, it should be shut down. They shoot you. Once that is done, then we'll start protecting the water body. We'll start, look, you are a legal miner, you are Newmont, you are whatever, start going there. As you are going, then we are putting security and cameras. We are putting structures in place that checked. Then it's the responsibility of government to start training illegal miners to be legal miners. We pick a place like 50 acres of land. You come, we take, I'm giving an example.
We need to go, yeah.
But it's very important.
Just on that.
Yes, Joyce, you forgive us, give us extra time because it means a lot. Our people are
just
dying.
a minute, yeah.
Then we'll train them. Instead of going to the water bodies, you will sink boreholes. Even government has to, through the MCs, to support them. Then you drill, you dig a certain place. There's a word they call
so they can all come.
Then the water will be recycled over there, so that you don't go to the water bodies.
Yeah.
Because we cannot stop the mining. No government can stop the mining, but we can use structures to make sure they do legal, environmental, safe mining.
Let me give the last minute to Janet. Yeah, so we need to get, yes.
So just as he has said, women and children are the hardest hit. Diseases like cancer and other issues are cropping up, and NHIS cannot be able to treat some of the diseases. So when you take the gold and you compare it to what we need to train to treat people who get sicknesses from this water body, you realize that it's not worth it.
All right. Janet Nabla, Steve Tuviga, and to you, Jerry also, and of course, Wayoga Namanti. Grateful for spending time with us here on UPfront. You'd see playback of this if you want to watch it again here on the Joy News channel. Until then, log on to myjoyonline.com. More stories there for you. Thanks for your company. Bye-bye.